Welcome to the You Are It podcast. My name is Alejandra Orozco. I am a social science researcher and an energy healer. You Are It has been created to support you in expanding your perception of reality. You are loved and absolutely deserving simply because you are, not because of what you have accomplished. Join me and be ready to transform your beliefs and approaches as you enter the flow of becoming one with your highest good and your highest purpose. Dear friends, today we explore how every moment and every experience is a constant invitation to come back home, to where you are love and light. And what better way to begin than with a quote from Rumi? Here we go. Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of living. It doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, even if you have broken your voice 1,000 times. Come, yet again. Come. Welcome to episode 3 of You Are It. Dear friends of my soul, welcome to episode 3 of You Are It. Today, we are going to delve into the fact that you are already light and in the process of discovering that you are. I will begin with a powerful quote from Sarah Hall's angelic channeling. Open quotes. Suffering is but the temporary forgetfulness of your union with the divine creator source. It is the mere illusion of divine love's absence. We wish to remind you that your peace needs never to be outsourced from the temporal world or hinged upon changing conditions of external illusions. Your peace is eternal. Your peace lies within you, one with you always. Turn within and know the divine miracle that you are in truth. Close quotes. Indeed, the secret is you. You are the light you seek. You are it. I know. I am having too much fun with You Are It. Okay, let's come back, Alejandra. Let's get serious, but still joyful. So, to embrace the profound truth that you do not need to outsource anything from the temporal world requires that you trust in the existence of a divine plan and that you choose to move beyond perceiving yourself and this reality as flawed or limited. Let us elaborate on how this is so. Yes, let us try to use the mind to go beyond the mind. Oh my, this is such a cool process. I hope you are with me. Okay, by design, every aspect of creation is an orchestration to support you in finding your light. And for that to happen, for you to find your light, and for there to be an environment that supports you in your journey, everything around you is truly the product of unconditional love and infinite knowing. You see, when there is air to breathe, it is there for everyone. The rain falls equally on the stone as it does on the fertile soil. The sun shines on every surface. But right now, the experiences you are going through, thanks to the workings of your mind, may suggest to you that things are flawed and incomplete. You see injustice, you see conflict, you see almost everything in the realm of what might be called nightmares. And this perception leads you to conclude that things are not perfectly designed, or perhaps that what comes from God is perfect, but what comes from humanity is not. But reality is certainly more complex than the judgments of our ego mind suggest. Every experience has always served as a gift and or a master, showing us about our beliefs, about others, and about the world we inhabit. Experiences shed light on where we are on the spectrum of conscious awareness. There are some cool tools that we might explore in the future to help assess where we are in terms of conscious awareness of our true nature. Like David Hawkins' map of consciousness. You can Google just those words and get tons to think about. But to get back to the point, at different levels of consciousness, we display certain attitudes, worldviews, emotional states, habits, and the like that can usefully illustrate our perception of reality, and therefore the reality we get to experience. The ugly or undesirable situations we go through are opportunities offered to us to become aware. In a state of conscious awareness, you take on or you own your responsibility. You are able to respond to situations instead of reacting to situations. What does being responsible mean? It is when you allow yourself to see what the situation is showing you about your limiting beliefs, your perception of yourself and others, or your perception of reality. It is when you are confronted with the deep, scary, unwanted truth that being reactive, avoiding, resentful, feeling like a victim, blaming others, they may all look like easy ways out of the situation and be quite familiar and habitual commonplace approaches, and yet you begin to see how these approaches look less and less appropriate and even truly harmful. We become aware that the situation is giving us the opportunity to break away from these patterns, to recognize and get in touch with the power that only resides within. At the same time, you become aware that every time you felt powerless, it was because you gave your power away to something else, to someone else, to a circumstance, or to its absence. But how? We can explore this through just about any situation. For example, we have the belief that physical healing can be outsourced when we choose to believe that it is a pill that will take away our headache, all the way to when you have the belief that the insult somebody else throws at you has the power of its own to cause you sadness. It is not the insult itself that has power. It has no power of its own until you choose to give it power by believing it. Then it takes on power of its own. And then all of a sudden, that offense hurts to the core. As Bashar powerfully points out, nothing, really nothing out there has a given value, but the value you choose to give it. Thus, loud music can be a source of disturbance for some, while for others it is an opportunity to dance. Your perception of the situation shapes it, literally creates your experience of it. Bashar also mentions or reminds us that circumstances do not matter. What matters is our state of being. Depending on how we feel, how empowered we are within, we can benefit and grow from any circumstance, truly from any situation. Not everything we are given is a gift, and not everything we are told is the truth, but depending on where we are in terms of what we feel we deserve, how we see ourselves, how we see others, etc., we can often literally take the poop that others and life throws at us as the truth that we choose to believe, and we carry those beliefs with us. And just like when we wear brown colored glasses, everything we perceive is with that shade of brown. This is an analogy, but I hope you get my point. The implications of this are so profound that we can only go so far in this episode, but let us try. Understanding this means realizing that we have been the ones hurting ourselves all along. I know, this is hard to take. How do you swallow that whole egg? I don't know. Why would we do this to ourselves? Well, it is often unconscious. Those nonsensical statements about ourselves and others and circumstances that we choose to take as truth become second nature and shape our perception. Like when we learn to ride a bicycle. Once we learn it, it becomes automatic, unconscious. We do not even have to think to ride it. Once we adopt the belief, it colors everything associated with that belief, and we hold it as truth, and we treat it as unquestionable, no matter how far from the truth it might be. For example, if you feel unworthy, what you receive from the world you inhabit are things that are not worthy of the divine being you are. If you have the belief that you are not so lovable because of the shape of your body, or the type of skin you have, or the way you speak, etc., well, hold on tight, because those flaws you see in yourself are the flaws others will see in you and project back to you. David Hawkins says, the world we experience is a projection of our own selves. But really, how could it be otherwise? We don't know what we don't know. We cannot give what we don't have. We can only know and be what we know, what we have discovered within. So, if we have not been in a state of deep self-love, how can we know it, recognize it, and be unconditionally loving? Truly, so far, we have never come to expect to get oranges from guava trees. Think of the curious nature of a child. Even if you tell him you are terrible, if he doesn't know what terrible is, if he doesn't attach any value to it, he doesn't suffer it. His reality is immediately shaped by his level of awareness of the absence of limiting beliefs and conditionings. He is naive or innocent to such statements, and therefore his reality is not disturbed by such statements. This is also related to the expression, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. If you have come to know and experience beauty within, you will easily find it out there. If all we see is ugly and undesirable, what does it say about us? Nothing I say here is meant to do anything but bring us all back home. There is nothing to feel bad about. There is only awareness, and then deeper awareness, and then deeper awareness. That is the experience of duality, and that is the secret of how we transcend it while we are still here. So, in those moments, like when somebody offends us, we have always had a choice, either to resent it, to feel bad about it, to condemn it, or we become aware of the gift hidden in the experience or the situation. The gift it gives us to shed light on, for example, how we feel about ourselves or others, how we feel about the world, how we judge others or ourselves, or about our prejudices. And now the experience sheds light on those subconscious beliefs and mental habits that have kept us predictable and heavy for far too long. We wanted the opportunity to learn through this dual reality, otherwise we wouldn't be here. As mentioned, we agreed to forget in order to make this life experience believable. Otherwise, how the hell could we ever convince the sons we are to perceive ourselves as grains of sand? And there it is, the culprit, and yet also the helper, our 3D mind, that collector of thoughts and trainer of emotions, helping us have a hell of a ride in this reality. And yet, here we are, using the mind to connect with the heart and transcend duality. Wow, this life, this mind, and this reality are truly quite something. To make these points a bit more clear, let us analyze this example of an insult. Let's say somebody is trying to be insulting. As you move to break away from your usual ways of acting or reacting, what might come to you is this awareness. Oh wow, does this suggest that I have thought of myself so poorly that others feel that treating me poorly is the way it should be, or that it is okay? Suddenly, you can see the frequency that you have been sending out all along. It is then that you see the gift that this person you used to call the oppressor has just offered, the gift of awareness of how you have been viewing yourself up until this moment. And then, coming from such an empowered position, the last thing we feel inclined to do is to hit back by being offensive as well. No, on the contrary, consciousness will incline us to thank the person. Thank you for helping me to become aware of where I have been. Of course, I will not take the offense you offer. It does not apply to the Alejandra of this moment, but thank you for contributing to my expansion. And boom, suddenly there is a new you. In fact, there is the possibility of a new you in every moment, regardless of circumstance. But because we have, at least up to this moment, defined our current moment based on our past experiences and conditionings, we have continued to perpetuate the way we have been, but not anymore. The you of this moment is a new you whose past has literally changed because you have chosen to change your habitual ways of doing and being. Now, Your expectations are not defined by your past experiences. Now, the new you, the you that broke the pattern, the you that released the limiting belief, is so ready to move into the unexpected. And as you shift, so will your perceptions, so will the people in your consciousness, and so will your reality. Everything, the people, the experiences, the difficult moments have been a product of your consciousness. And as your consciousness shifts, so will your circumstances. It was all meant to bring you home, back to your infinite selves. Now you are becoming aware of the power and might of divine intelligence and how everything in creation is brewed in the stew of unconditional love and infinite knowing. Now we give up trying to control circumstances as if the design we have perceived as flawed needs our intervention to become better. What is for your highest good will happen in spite of your wishes and desires, and it is truly meant to take you where you feel truly fulfilled and live the life of your dreams. I know we often compare a life of surrender to a monastic life, but that is silly and inaccurate. Life is full of fun and meaningful experiences, and they can all be ours to the extent that we allow them, to the extent that we let go of the limiting beliefs that have prevented us from experiencing joy, love, and abundance. And in this new state of being, even our prayers are transformed. They are no longer about asking, but about giving thanks, knowing that the difficulties of the processes we are going through are meant to bring out the best in us for our highest good. Such awareness will also allow you to understand that sometimes taking you there, where your highest expression resides, requires putting you in situations that allow you to break free of unwanted patterns, the conditionings that have blinded you to beauty. Anyone who offers a gold chain to somebody who is unaware of its value will soon realize the folly of such an action. Similarly, how can you enjoy, recognize, and appreciate the value of beauty and peace if you have not yet recognized it within you by being exposed to its contrast and absence? Again, light is appreciated because we have been through serious darkness. Once you let go and trust completely, you realize that there was never any separation between you and Prime Source. You realize that everything, the silence and the noise, are expressions of Source. Now you realize that the silence is so pervasive that it allows you to hear the noise around you, and that the stillness and beauty are dominant. But to recognize their existence, we needed the noise and the not so beautiful things. And then you can move towards relinquishing the desires of your mind. Now you are provided because you are, because you exist, not because of how much you have done or what your mind tells you to desire. Now you can witness the unfolding of divine grace and beauty as you move beyond judgment and into inspired action, into being authentic to yourself and to others. Now you move beyond fear. There is nothing to fear. Now you move beyond want as you transcend your own limitations of scarcity and worthiness and inadequacy. And now that you are home, you can experience how the divine presence is your very breath, the beating of your heart, your moments of awareness, your presence in stillness. Now it is all about the journey, no more desperation to reach a destination. Now life is the dance you do not want to end. And it is good not to know how things will unfold. It is beautiful that there is nothing to control. Now is your time to choose a life of clarity and ease, of joy and meaning, not by what you do, but by how you are in a state of allowing. This high life is yours by design. You can either allow it or try to get it through the conditionings of your 3D mind. The choice has always been yours. And now, the more those around you are able to recognize your beauty and divinity and honor who you are, the more you will know that you are honoring yourself and recognizing your own beauty. Few experiences are greater than being in the presence of someone who is aware of their wholeness and beauty, who does not for a millisecond think of making others feel less than, and who, with every breath and the way they look at you, brings you back home where you can see your own beauty. That someone is all of us, and that is where our path is taking us. You are the love we need to see us all through. Now is the time to come home. Finally, allow me to share some excerpts from an angelic channeling done by Ann Tucker, whom I absolutely adore and recommend. I share the link to her channel and Sarah Hall's channel in the description of this episode. Here is an excerpt from the channeling in her video titled "The Dialogue Must Shift." Open quotation marks. You are all knowledge, all beingness, and the world conforms to you. When you trust yourself, trust your soul, what you are made of, the very blanket of divinity rests around you and conforms thus to the body you are made in, to the circumstances of life you have chosen. Ellipsis. There is the dynamic between yourself and all things of exchange that you have known, and this dialogue has been constrained. It has been a method by which you have experienced life as something external to you, as something difficult, a hardship, a burden to make through, a suffering encampment where you have been laid and must make do until your time here is over. And we say you have seldom been met with a greater prospect than this life you are enduring. Ellipsis. The self, the soul, the dialogue, in truth, speaks to you that you are this world and it moves through you, and you must lie down your torment and your grief and find solace in the concept of yourself as all things, as knowing your truth begins now in this sphere, in this moment, in this interaction and dialogue. You are here, and your presence announces itself as one who is giddy in the experience of living, as one who finds life not a torment but a blessing. The dignity of your grace is expressed even in the moments of greatest quiet and reflection, where you find your stillness, you find your hardship, you find your tears and suffering, and in these moments you are brought to terms with what must be accepted and done into your heart for the pleasure of commencing a new relationship to your truth. The knowingness of your own wounding draws you closer to a life that is free of the friction that has disturbed your countenance and created hardship for many. Ellipsis. Your blessings are within reach. Your days are flowing more easily and they come to fruition in the time of our speaking to you. They come to turn. They come this fast, this easy, as though a breath is made and fell immediately in the circumstances you meet. It is that fleeting moment by moment. It is extinguished and renewed again and again. You are remade, the new you, never extinguished, always renewing. You are endlessly possible and positive in this world. We say, blessings are upon you. Close quotation marks. I love you all very much. May you all continue in this dance of entering into communion with your beautiful higher selves in every moment of your experience in this reality. And may you all remember that source and life itself adore you, and that all is well in all of creation. My name is Alejandra, and you have been listening to You Are It. We are powerful beings. We are divine and endowed with extraordinary abilities. There is no dream without a dreamer. As the infinite beings that we are on a journey of discovery and expansion. But as long as we are unaware of this, we surrender our sovereignty. This manifests in our beliefs about who we are and what is possible, and in how we allow people and circumstances to influence our state of being and our actions. This episode was a direct invitation to move towards being consciously aware that you create and as you create, to realize once and for all, dear soul, that you are light and love. It was a joy to have you here. Rumi, the mystic and the poet, once said, "You search the world for treasures, but the real treasure is yourself." This is the essence of our message on the You Are It podcast. You are the treasure waiting to be discovered or enjoyed. You are the flame that never consumes itself and the light that shines everywhere. Now you are home. Please know that you are most welcome. Stay tuned as we look forward to sharing something of value on every episode. Goodbye.